Stigma is defined as a mark of disgrace associated with a particular circumstance, quality, or person. In this case, we're talking of the stigma of living with mental health, addiction, or trauma, mental illness, addiction, or trauma issues. So the question that we're going to present to the panel, and we'll start in the middle, we'll start with Leslie this time, is have you experienced stigma in the workplace, and how did you react? And I want to remind the panel that workplace doesn't have to be where you work today. You can draw on any experience from your entire life. So the question is, have you experienced stigma in the workplace, and how did you react and or handle it?
This anecdote or this experience still baffles me. I worked in a homeless shelter for about 5 years, and I ran a emergency shelter, winter crisis shelter. And we had many people that came in. Obviously, many of our clients had some sort of mental illness. And one of the local or the regulars for us was named Larry. And Larry, when he would come in, he usually brought about 3 or 4 people that he talked to also when he came in. He in terms of in his head. And one day he was there setting up his cot and everything, and he was talking to whoever he was seeing. And this still baffles me. The director of the program came down and was showing the board members, a board member, the whole program. And she went to one of my staff and said, "That man over there is talking to himself. What's he doing?" She was terrified of it. And my staff person said, "Well, yeah, that's Larry, and he's, he lives with schizophrenia." And well, get him to stop. And Robin came to me and was like, I don't know what to do with this. I said, just, that's that director. And she came back and again was very concerned about this. I just was blown away by that this person, this staff or this director who was running the shelter had no clue. I mean, it angered me, The second was also that same director. I had a staff member for that same program who was 10 years sober. And before she had gotten sober, she had had a misdemeanor drug possession offense. She was doing volunteer, I think she was doing an internship, and then she applied for the position. And what happened is they, of course, asked for any kind of drug or any kind of charges, and she was honest about it, said, when I was 19, 10 years ago, this happened. And she had already been hired by the time the director found this application, and the director told her supervisor, and who wasn't me at that time, she can't work here anymore. This is a homeless shelter that fired a person of 10 years sobriety, was working on her bachelor's degree in social work, and she couldn't work there anymore because she had drug and alcohol past. It didn't make sense. Again, I don't know if that's a unique situation, but it certainly was frustrating.
Thank you so much. Well, let's go to Traci.
Oh, well, basically, when I worked at that mental health center, we were getting to a point where we were having volunteers that had a mental illness helping in this rape crisis and mental health center and that sort of thing. We're trying to empower these folks to, be recognized that we are capable human beings, we're skilled people, we have, past experience with other jobs and that sort of thing. And I had a really bad episode, and I took a few days off of work, and I came back, and the medical director of the agency called me in, and I knew that something was up. I knew I was going to get fired probably. So my mom was a big advocate for me. My dad had worked at the post office for 30 years and had a stroke, and instead of allowing him a chance to take his job and try again or get accommodations, they just fired him. and she was able to win the case without a lawyer, and on an appeal, won again. So this was on the cusp of that. So my mom was like, nobody's messing with my child. This is her dream job. This is everything she's been through enough. And I remember sitting in that room, and my mom told me, she said, when they offer you your job back, when I get done with them, she goes, you're going to turn it down. And I remember thinking, what? This is my dream job. But I'll never forget, we went in there, and the medical director was trying to say, you know, me being a psychiatrist and being, you know, I have concerns about you breaking down and that sort of thing. And so my mom said, you know, isn't that why you hired her, to be the recovery girl, to show people that do recover, and recovering is, you know, taking back your life, and you're not giving her an opportunity to do that. She said, what I want you to do now is you, Miss Human Resource, I want you to write a glowing recommendation for Traci, in case, you know, somewhere down the road and that sort of thing, she chooses to find another job. And they said, well, we're terminating her. And she said, well, along with that, I just want you to know that you will offer her job back because of the ADA, you discriminated and that sort of thing. So technically, they did offer my job back, and I did turn it down. But it was a learning experience of a lifetime, because it told me that my skills, my mindset was more important than any symptoms that I had. And I had the ability to reach people that they would never be able to reach. And for that reason, I knew that I was going to run into people like this down the road. But I also now had some tools, and I knew the way to advocate for myself.